Good morning, fam. What's going on? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Today is Tuesday. It is November 11th, and I have to start out today by saying, holy shit, what the hell is that? I never seen that before. I did something I typed in something. Did you see that? What was that? That was the craziest thing I ever seen. I'm glad I recorded it because I wouldn't have known what that was. Who saw that? It was like bubbles or something. Wow. All right. As you know, November 11th is Veterans Day, okay, which is clearly a federal holiday. So you're probably sleeping in at this point in time. But if you have served in the United States military, if you are a veteran, we have a civilian salute to you. We understand that freedom is not free. And thank you very much for serving this great country. I've always said on this channel, the reason that I fly an American flag outside my house, I've never looked at it as a political statement. I look at it as being free and understanding the privileges that come with being free. And if you have served in this country, thank you so much. And, you think about people that paid the ultimate sacrifice for your freedoms. It's just, it really hits me hard. And I've explained many different times that I lived in Washington, D.C. I lived there 2 different times. And one particular time I lived in Alexandria, Virginia. And I would wake up in the morning, and I worked at the EPA at this point in time during my life. So I would take the Braddock Station. Anybody familiar with Braddock Station? Yellow and blue, where you at? And I would take the metro in. And one of the stops before we crossed the Potomac was at the Pentagon. And getting on and off at the Pentagon were people dressed in their dress blues, right? Like people were dressed up that were about to go into the Pentagon. And whether they were, I don't know, they could have been Marines, they could have been Navy, they could have been Army, anything really, high-ranking generals, whatever. People were on down the metro. It's part of life there. And I just felt this sense of pride, being able to be kind of shoulder to shoulder with them. And that was one of the great joys at that point in my life, was kind of riding there and kind of understanding the significance of being around that caliber of people. So anyways, and if you are in the United States military right now, I know we have a lot of people that view the show from all over the country, all over the world. You might be stationed somewhere. Thank you so much. We are thinking about you, and I know when you need an outlet to come out for Alabama football or college football coverage, we got you coverage, and you are being thought about right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So with that said, we move to the defense. And as we usually do on Monday, Coach Kane Womack, who's a defensive coordinator, he went to the podium along with Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer. And I have to be honest, I do like hearing from them. I think when they're winning, I think in the past I probably said, maybe you just need the head football coach. But this is a different way that we get to hear from the coaches. So I'm happy about it right now. And specifically how the defense is playing. The defense is playing stellar football. I have said multiple times following LSU, the reason that they beat LSU, the reason they beat South Carolina is that their defense was able to come up with some really good plays. And you'll hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer in this video in just a little bit. But he also mentioned the special teams. And I was glad that he did that because Blake Dowd had an amazing punt. And if Jalen Mbakwe doesn't come up with a special teams play, LSU has maybe, 70 yards to work with instead of 98. That's a big difference when they did have some momentum. So I'm glad that he pointed out that. Coach Kane Womack said this: we are playing as fast as we've ever played right now. I would agree with that. Would you? Sound off inside the comment box. There is a swagger and type of energy that we have to continue. I love that. He's being aware that what's going on right now, and they have to sustain that. And I think he's understood, look, there's been times where Alabama's defense has played really good, and then they've kind of faltered. But I do have to say that that really hasn't been the case over the last 6-7 weeks. The defense has played better and better, and the statistics back it up. Right? I mean, Alabama, I think in red zone defense particularly, is number 7 in the country. They have a fantastic overall defense right now that is, I think, ranked 20 in the country. And I could point out a lot of different players on the defense. We've been talking about Yanzi Pierre recently a lot. He spoke about the inside linebackers. Love to see it. I mean, all those veteran inside linebackers are playing fantastic, but some lesser-known players, I like to mention Red Morgan. I know he's been a hot name. Having him come off the bench, he's been playing electric. I think Edric Hill, I've seen him doing a lot of kind of nasty work inside the trenches. James Smith has been another guy who's been really active. I saw Keon Keeley come in a few different times and provide some depth after LT Overton. So the twos on this team are really good. Probably should mention Dejon Lee as well, the big corner who made that stellar play in the end zone. So Kane Womack really excited about where the defense is and aware that they have to continue that against very good teams. I mean, Oklahoma, they're going to present their challenges with the quarterbacks. They got really good running backs, really good wide receivers. And then he was asked today about facing Oklahoma last year, and he was like, look, we straight up got our you-know-what's kicked in Norman. And Alabama football coach Kalen DeBoer kind of said the similar thing. I never would have thought that Oklahoma would be able to take Alabama to the woodshed like they did last year. That was crazy. They did absolute work. They beat Alabama in every single facet of the game last year. And I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, Alabama's a better football team this year, but so is Oklahoma. Now, the difference in this game could very well come down to Alabama's defense and the fact that it's at home, right, where Alabama has won 17 in a row, undefeated against under Coach Kalen DeBoer. But, I've pointed out several different times, I read off the stats this morning, Oklahoma's got that active defense, number 7, I think, overall in the entire country, and they got a lot of pressure. They're going to come after Ty Simpson again and again and again. So that's going to be one of their main objectives this coming Saturday. I think it's going to be a great game. Alabama favored by, I think, 7. Is that still the line? Help me out, Jarvis, inside the comment box. So that was the key takeaway from Kane Womack today. And I had to say this, and kind of moving on to Ryan Grubb next. I'm happy for the guy because he's been scrutinized. He's been, we've pointed him out as the villain. I think at times we probably wanted him fired after that first game, right? Being a fanatic, a fan, like frustrated, but he's done a really good job, and the defense is playing fantastic football. And you know what they say: if you play really, really good defense, what does it help you win? Yeah, that's that. Before I go to Ryan Grubb, these are a couple ways that you can support us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So. Notifications. Make sure that your bell is turned on because I'm pushing out a lot of content. So when you turn on the bell and you see it kind of activated, that means that you're getting all of the videos to you, okay? So make sure and check back often because I'm posting a lot. I'm going heavy. All gas, no brakes right now, right? Thumbs up. Every time you hit the thumbs up on this video, I don't know why, but it helps the video. It probably tells YouTube that, hey, people like this video, and YouTube will say, okay, well, we're going to share it with more people. So if you could do that, it's the thumbs up right under the video. Fan Fund. There's many different ways to become a fan funder, and what is that? Well, it's basically supporting Bama Football on YouTube. We're supported by viewers like you, so there's many different levels. I think one is like $2.99, and one there's different ladders. They're easy to sign up for. They're easy to cancel. So thank you for your consideration in doing that. Super chats, they go a long way. You can even super chat on videos, from the past. So maybe you miss a live, you come back, you can throw a super chat. But on the lives, super chats go a long way. So thank you so much again. And then follow on social media. We have a Facebook channel that has 70,000 followers. So check it out. I treat it like my website, just so you know. Ryan Grubb today, Alabama offensive coordinator, kind of opened up talking about the run game. That's been probably the hottest topic here in Tuscaloosa. And he said, I don't think it's a mental thing. And he got that because Ty Simpson after the game said it's a mental thing. So he didn't agree with that. And he said, guys are getting beat at the point of attack and we have to get better. What does that mean? Getting beat at the point of the attack. I was kind of thinking about that. Does he mean the offensive line? Does he mean that the running backs, kind of getting beat at the point of contact or attack rather? I don't know. I was thinking about that. What does that mean to you? I've kind of had to chew on that for a little bit. I've spoken and you've spoken and everybody has also spoken about the lack of the running game. Are they one-dimensional? Yes. And I started digging up and I had another video kind of talking about Ryan Grubb. And I'll read this off again. And a couple reasons like why Ryan Grubb was fired with the Seahawks. And I'm not saying, that Alabama needs to fire Ryan Grubb or anything like that. I'm just bringing up some things that Seattle fans had to say about Ryan Grubb when he came from Washington to the NFL. A couple different things, okay? So stay with me. Different visions. Coach Coach Mike Macdonald's vision of the offense was different from Grubb despite the team's offensive success leading to a lack of disalignment, lack of a balanced run game. A major factor was the offensive struggles to establish a constant running game despite the potential of running back Kenneth Walker III. Pass-heavy tendencies. The offense was criticized for being too predictable, pass-heavy, calling passes on 87% of snaps in key games, which led to quarterback sacks and an inability to close out games. Adaptability issues. While Grubb took some blame for not adapting, Macdonald was disappointed that Grubb's philosophy didn't become more balanced and adaptable against NFL defense. Overall performance. The offense seemed to be underperforming its potential, and the Seahawks brass felt other coordinators could have gotten more out of the roster despite the statistical achievements. And one of the statistical achievements that the Seahawks did have was Geno Smith had his career best threw for 4,000 yards. So if you ask Seattle Seahawks fans, and if there's anyone from Seattle, watching this or listening to this, does it seem like it was a lack of a running game identity? Let us know inside the comment box. But you can kind of see a few parallels with what's happening here. Again, I am not saying throw Ryan Grubb out of here by any of that. It's just everybody has kind of Achilles heel, but you can still win, right? Is this Alabama's, right? I don't know. Something that you want and something to monitor, and hopefully it gets fixed. I've been saying that for weeks, and it doesn't feel like we're making any sort of movement. In fact, I think they ran for like 2.2 yards total against LSU. All right. There's this whole sign stealing. Now, it's nothing illegal. Brett Venables and his staff are going through the guidelines, but they're good at picking up signals. Like, you can do this if you have a high caliber staff that can understand signals lead to this particular play. And Ryan Grubb said this, look, they're good at understanding kind of stealing signs within the parameters of the game. So if Brent Venables is watching, and he was laughing when he said this, we have changed our signs. Of course, this is something that is common, but again, Brett Venables, and I asked you this recently, when you think about the Oklahoma Sooners or when you think about Brett Venables, what do you think about? I think of a defensive-minded coach 100%. So he's going to come with it, and I always remember what Brett Venables said last year after the game. He's like, we punched Alabama in the mouth. And I would play that again and again inside the locker room. Two quick notes, and then I'll go to Coach Kalen DeBoer, his opening, and then one thing that I want to point out. Alabama basketball. I know I'm talking Alabama basketball in the month of November. Number one, I love Nate Oates. I think he does a stellar job. He is that guy. Some people say this is the golden era of Alabama basketball. I guess. When I first got here, I understood quickly that people loved Alabama basketball, but it was kind of like backstage. Alabama basketball right now is on main stage. Okay, yes, Alabama basketball is on main stage. This team is very capable. Despite all the guys that they lost, LeBaron Philon, who's, by the way, named SEC Player of the Week following his performance against St. John's. This guy's elite. You got to watch him. This team can move the ball, very entertaining. They're going to score in the hundreds many different times this season. They are ranked number 9 in the coaches poll, and I think they are ranked number 8 overall in the AP Top 25. I think they started like 15 or 14, which is probably too low. As you can see, they're up 7 spots. In number 9 in the coaches poll, right? So they were number 16. And then you take on number 1 Purdue. That game is Thursday. So, okay, you hear what I said. Alabama taking on Purdue, number 1 in the nation, this Thursday. That is going to be an absolutely stellar game. Let me see. I'm sure it's on ESPN, but I just want to make sure. Purdue TV. I just want to make sure we got this right so we can Alabama basketball schedule. I don't want to lead you all astray. All right, so Alabama basketball, number 1 Purdue. It'll be this Thursday on ESPN2. So you can download the ESPN app. I don't know if this whole, Disney and Google is going to work out. I have no idea, but ESPN app, that'll be on ESPN2 this coming Thursday. It should really be on main ESPN, right? Okay. This part ties into this piece I'm going to play with Coach Kalen DeBoer here coming up in just a minute. Coach Kalen DeBoer was asked today by a team reporter about all the former players being at practices, at games. Coach Saban, Miss Terry, by the way, they look wonderful. And I'm sorry I couldn't fit everyone in the picture. These are some big human beings, right? And he said, look, this is their program. these are the guys that built this. Hopefully, they are proud of us right now. And I was like, man, the one thing that I think we can say about Coach Kalen DeBoer, we've said everything about him. By the way he dresses, his demeanor, this and that. I think we can all say this. He has zero ego. You had to have zero ego if you're going to come over and take over for Coach Saban. The GOAT still comes in. And I see the videos that, he looks over Bryant-Denny Stadium like a king looks over his kingdom, okay? And Coach Kalen DeBoer, man, imagine that pressure. Coming after Coach Kalen DeBoer, coaching on Nick Saban Field, all right? That's some pressure. And he's doing a damn good job. So we will now cut to the opener real quick of Kalen DeBoer. This is courtesy of the University of Alabama. And this was on Monday. I'm going to play his opening comments and then that particular piece about him kind of embracing the former players that built this. So here's his opening comments from Monday following LSU and a little bit on Oklahoma going into this next pivotal week.
Good morning. And I know you heard from the coordinators, talked a little bit after the game on Saturday as well. Just really feel like, there's things we can continue to get better at, but very proud of the way we, continue to find a way to win and the resolve and the way the guys come back to work each and every day, but also in the game. Each series is its own, each play is its own, and now we come to Oklahoma where each game is its own game. And so probably one thing, since you do talk to the defense coordinators, one thing to highlight, I think our special teams did a nice job. I know we missed the field goal, but, pinning LSU deep 3 times inside the 20 and the play down on the 1, those are plays you work on, and you just get a couple times every year to really make it happen. And our guys did that, and so I'm really proud of that, along with the kickoff coverage and just the coverage in general, on kickoff punt. Our guys knew they had a challenge ahead of them this last weekend. If you really looked at what their stats were with those returners, it's pretty impressive, not just maybe this year, but over the course of their careers. And hats off to our guys. They really take a lot of ownership, not just in what they do on the field offensively, defensively, and individually, but our guys, making an impact on special teams. I'm proud of them. So, penalties, love the direction that continues to go. Just 2 for 25 yards and winning the takeover, winning the turnover margin, doing that each and every week. That's just really an identity of who we are. And we're going to have to really do that again this week because we're facing a team that I think abides by a lot of the same things that we emphasize when it comes to physicality, when it comes to, win the turnover margin, winning in the red zone, each side of the ball for Oklahoma. The same thing applies to, what we take a lot of pride in. So they have, good skill with their special teams, and you can see the field goals and their punting game. They excel there. So going to take all 3 phases to have a win come out this weekend, but ready for the week of practice. I know the guys are excited.
Yeah, before we get to the next comment, he hit on special teams primarily on each side of the ball. I love that. That's something that a head coach needs to address, right? Is not only offense, defense, but don't forget about special teams. And while Connor Talty might make you a little bit nervous, he did hit on 2 kicks that were in that 40-yard range. So that should give you a little bit more confidence in him. With that said, I think that first one that he missed was kind of a head scratcher. Same thing for the LSU guy. What did he miss, like a 24-yarder or something like that? So on the season, I think off the top of my head, Connor Talty is 11 of 6, but he is 5 of 8 from 40 yards, right? Blake Dowd, Alabama's punter, has been wonderful. I think he's gotten better and better, and he comes up with some clutch kicks. As Coach Kalen DeBoer just said, 3 pins within the 20. That's some work. And, of course, that big one that he had with Jalen Mbakwe knocking it down at the 2-yard line, that was a stellar special teams play. Other special teams things that stand out to me, Lazier Brooks returning kicks. I love it. He had a 25-yard return. I mean, he looks like lightning in a bottle, 100%. And then you have Cole Adams, who's Mr. Dependable back there returning punts. I think he had a long punt return. It was like 12 to 15 yards, but it was called back because of a penalty. Anyways, Oklahoma's special teams. I've mentioned this a couple different times. If you haven't seen him, look him up. This is their field goal kicker, okay? He was out there, and I said this yesterday. He was like I'm telling you, maybe like a girdle. It was like underwear. It was crazy. I've never seen anybody kick like this. And this dude comes out and he can boot the ball, though. So I think he's 18 of 19, 8 of 9 from 40 plus, and he has a longest of 55. They have a really good punter as well. Coach Kalen DeBoer said it's going to take all 3 phases. But kind of circling back on Coach Kalen DeBoer, welcoming back the former players, obviously Coach Saban there, everything going on. He's embraced it. And I think that helps from a bunch of different reasons. Number one, it kind of builds a sense of camaraderie, family, right? On Saturday, right? Like, where would you rather be? Guys are coming back because they want to be a part of it. When you are doing good things, you're like a magnet, right? Good things come to you. And Coach Kalen DeBoer doing the right things. Recruits can see that. They want to be a part of something great as well. And, I think the fans, everybody just vibes off of it. Coach Saban keeps coming back. Coach Saban, you really think that Coach Saban's going to go somewhere else and deal with somebody else's BS at like LSU or Florida, wherever? No, he's not going to go coach. He wants to be think about this. How bad does Coach Saban want to be? Still a part of Alabama football? This bad. He was at Lubbock, Texas in the morning for college game day. Hops on a private plane, okay? Flies over to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, comes up. He don't live far from me. I would imagine goes, maybe has some lunch or something like that. They get dressed up, and then they go to Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's a family day, okay? That's a family day. They have their daughter. They have their kids. Like, he don't want to be doing anything different, okay? And if he wants to do anything different, it's playing golf when the weather is warm and his chores are done. But back to Coach Kalen DeBoer, welcoming back all this. I love the play. I think it's smart. There's zero ego. And the best thing that he says in the soundbite is, I hope that they are proud of what we are doing because they built it. Here's that soundbite. Coach Kalen DeBoer welcoming everybody in to Tuscaloosa.
This is a little off topic, but there's a lot of former Bama guys, NFL guys, Saban guys there at the game on Saturday. Just what's your approach having former players around, even the ones that didn't play for you, and just kind of how does that benefit the guys currently in the program?
Yeah, I love it. This is their program. It's ours all together, but they're the ones that built this and made it what it is, and love that they want to come back and are proud of what they accomplished and hopefully proud of what we're doing right now with so much recruiting and so forth. This week was probably one of those weeks where I didn't get to see as many as I normally do, and whether it's pregame or during the day or even the weekend, saw a few of them. Booker in particular, which is a guy from last year's team, he was around. And, just that excites me because that's what we want. You want alumni to always feel like this is home and a place that they can come back to and be welcome and, want to, especially in the off season, it's a lot easier to do, but just really integrate everyone together. Our players, hearing the stories, understanding the history, learning as well on how they can continue to be better because a lot of these guys that are coming back have been in the NFL and understand what that next step looks like, and that's what our guys' goals and dreams are.
I mean, that's a hell of a soundbite, 100%. I mean, that's one of the bigger soundbites of the entire day from Monday right there because he gets it. And I think recruits see that. Recruits are like, man, look, I can be on the field playing for top-ranked Alabama, and then look at all these former guys that are in the NFL. They could be doing anything else. These guys are multimillionaires. They're coming back to Tuscaloosa because they want to still be a part of it. And I'm telling you, if you come over here, it's like a family-type atmosphere at those type of games. Love to see it. I think that was a hell of a soundbite. Hey, fam, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for waking up with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. For the Wake Up Bama portion of this, remember, I will be live at 10 a.m. Central Time as we go over more Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, Kane Womack, a little bit of Brent Venables going into this SEC showdown on Saturday between Alabama and Oklahoma. It's a top 10 game. I mean, think about this, right? Zoom out for a second. You got Alabama basketball playing in a top 10 basketball game, right? 8 versus number 1, Purdue. And then you have Alabama football, another top 10 game taking place between Alabama, number 4, and Oklahoma, probably like number 10, whenever the college football playoff rankings drop. So, man, don't slow up. Get rest, stay healthy, and I appreciate you guys kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama at 4 in the morning. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you. Catch you at 10 a.m. Central Time right here. Bama Football on YouTube.